So I said it during last week's episode, but I'll say it here again during this week's episode review of episode number 5 for Arifureta, and obviously episode 5 of season number 2. But as each week continues to develop, as season 2, each episode continues to develop, and we continue to move on from each individual episode, I am really, really loving the change that season 2 has inflicted and has kind of encompassed, which is diving really deep into the lore and into the plot and story of what's going on in the larger picture of the world. Season 1 still continues to be one of my favorite anime of all time, just because I really enjoyed the character. I really enjoyed seeing Hajime, fail and struggle and kick and scream his way to, finish the labyrinth. Then he met Yue and all the things that ensued after that. But season 1, I really feel like was just like the opener and introduction for what Arifureta could end up being. Now, from what I've heard from talking to different individuals in the comment section, on Twitter, and in other forums, is the season 1 was a poor retelling of the actual story that took place, and there was a lot of holes and a lot of things that were left out just due to the pacing of which anime needs to kind of take. And at the same time, they may have not thought they were ever going to get a season 2. But I think once they actually got greenlit for a season 2, something has definitely changed. I don't know if they're sticking, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't read anything. All I've watched is the anime. So I don't know if they're sticking closer to the source material or what happened, but something changed 100% during season 2, and the deep dive into everything that's going on outside of just being, this harem, ecchi, anime that, just has plot, or has a little bit of story sprinkled just for the sake of needing to have that. This one, I feel like it's the opposite this time, is the harem, the harem stuff is there, the ecchi stuff is there, but it's very light. Like, in this episode, right, in episode number 5, really the only, ecchi stuff that I guess you could really say was during, maybe 1 or 2, scenes, very quick panel scenes of 𝐒𝐻𝐸, defeating one of the little blob monsters, and we get a few upshots and a few fan servicey moments, but for the most part, the rest of the episode was really just centered around them, discovering the labyrinth, finding the labyrinth, trekking through the labyrinth, finding the first great labyrinth monster there. And then we get some really good dialogue interaction between Kaori and between Hajime. And he's been watching over her very closely. And I really want to see Hajime and Kaori's love kind of blossom. I know Yue is the main girl. Hajime tells everybody, including us, the viewers, that she's the main girl, etc. But I really think that Kaori has a special bond with Hajime as well. But her bond is something that pre-exists pre-exists who he is now. So he needs to love her from who he was and who he is as well. And I think that love will blossom. And I'm really interested in seeing it because, I personally have a personal investment. Kaori is my favorite character in the anime. I don't know why. The moment I've seen her and throughout the anime, I've just felt that way, and it just is what it is. Sometimes you just identify or notice a character that you just really like, and that's just it, and that's just kind of where it is for me. For me, in the anime specifically, it's Kaori, Tio, Shay, and then Yue. After that, and then I guess you could put Mew and now Mew's mom down there, you know what I mean? But Mew is the daughter one, so I don't really I'm not looking at her that way, so that's kind of the order of it. Yue is kind of I like Yue a lot, I like a little vampire girl, but she's the one that at least she's a cool character, but not the one that I'm ooh about, really Kaori is my number 1 there. So I also hope, that, again, like I said, I hope their love blossoms, and I think that the real conversation that Hajime had with her today, I think needs to resonate with her, and he basically talked to her about 𝐒𝐸 and how, she always felt inferior to Yue, and, she didn't let that bog her down, get her down, she kept kind of pushing towards that goal, which was Yue, and that kind of changed her perception. And as she did that, Hajime, in not all these words, basically said like, his attraction level for Shia ended up growing as well because he saw the work that she was putting in. He saw everything that was happening, and she relentlessly pursued him, and eventually was accepted, even though he doesn't verbally say it. But she was accepted by him and accepted by Yue as well. And I think the other way, if you look at the flip side of it, is the way Yue continually attacks her is she likes her, but I think she does it for two reasons. One, because she hasn't fully accepted her yet. And the other two is I think that out of all the other girls, I think she views her as like the closest opponent for his heart. Like I think Yue is completely okay with being number one, having Shia and Tio be number two, number three, however that order kicks out. I think she's completely okay with that. But I think Kaori is like the only one she sees as someone who can also vie for his like true heart. And I think Kaori just needs to kind of change how she's pursuing him. Or give up, one of the two things there. But I like the moment that I was really drawing out explanation, sorry guys. But I really like the moment that they shared, and I like the realism that Hajime ended up giving her. I think that's gonna really play really well into their love story, as they continue to tell. Because I feel like the love stuff that they dealt with, the relationship between the girls and stuff, I feel like they've done it a lot. They've done it really tastefully, and I really enjoy that. The next part of it, too, is we had 𝐼𝐸, which is the teacher, and all of the corruption and I don't know if it's demons. I don't know what kind of evil is corrupting the kingdom, but we had all of that scene with her getting taken in some way, shape, or form, with her going to be taken to some kind of mountain or something and be used as some kind of pawn. She was able to resist certain charms that this nun lady ended up having. But I want to see that developed more too, and I want to see what's going to end up happening with that. And thankfully, the princess was able to see what was happening. So hopefully, the princess can communicate with Hajime, because Hajime is really going to be the only one who's going to be able to save teacher, which he loves the teacher a lot. And he's going to be able to save her. So hopefully, the princess can connect with Hajime to figure out all of what the hell is going on in the kingdom. But again, like I said, I'm loving the deepness that we've been getting with the story and the plot, and it just made an already enjoyable anime that was like a solid 6.5, 7. It makes it more like an 8, which is awesome for us, for me, for you, because that means something that we really enjoyed is now can be identified as a really good anime, I think. So kick-ass episode, really enjoy it. Like I said, I'm really invested, even more so than I was before, and that's really appreciative. But I'll leave you guys on those thoughts there. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Let me know what you guys think about the relationship between Kaori and Hajime progressing or degressing, and let me know what you think about the story and the plot that's developing in the background here. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying or if you don't. And the third thing is, if you are familiar with the source material, let me know on if Season 2 is more closely following that or what's going on there. Let me know your thoughts from those angles, too. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 6. Peace out.